you want someone who knows what they're doing, point blank. I mean, if you get a car wreck attorney, they're not going to know to uncover all these stones in the transportation cycle. They're not going to know what parties to look for.
What does a typical truck crash attorney look like? Well, we're going to find out on this episode of Ask the Lawyer, and you might be surprised. My guest is attorney Sara Sardina with Joe Camerlengo's truck accident law firm based in Florida. Remember, if you'd like to ask Sara any questions about your situation, it's easy. Go to askthelawyer.com. Click the button up at the top that says Ask a Lawyer. It'll walk you right through the process. Doesn't cost anything to ask your questions. Or, of course, you can call the phone number you'll see on the screen during our conversation. Sara, good to see you. Thank you for making some time to help us out today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's just start with a little bit of your background. How'd you get involved with Joe and the truck accident law firm?
Sure. About 10 years, I actually started in the legal field, started at a small collections firm. From there, I moved into the insurance defense side, handling trucking cases for the first time. That's where I really started to get my experience. From there, I just felt very unfulfilled, like I wasn't making a difference in anyone's life, wasn't helping people. And that's really what triggered me to go to the plaintiff side. And I got an interview with Joe and been working with him ever since. I started as his paralegal and, worked as his law clerk through law school. And now I'm an associate attorney with the firm.
Joe's passion for helping people, it rubs off on you. He's very passionate about what he does. So, if you don't mind me saying so, you're young, you're female, not generally what we're used to seeing when it comes to truck crash attorneys. Is that true? Is that are you an outlier there?
Yeah, you don't see it these days. Not a lot of female trucking attorneys out there.
And what is it about the personal injury law and truck crash litigation in particular that speaks to you? What makes you passionate about that?
It's really the victims, our clients. I mean, at the end of the day, these people have been involved in a horrific truck crash that has totally turned their world upside down by no cause of their own. And most of the time, they're dealing with these trucking drivers that are just undertrained, and same with the companies. And it's sad, and it really, it hits you in the heart. You really want to do something for these victims, and that's really what speaks to me.
What is it, Sara, that you bring to the process maybe that someone else, because of your background and where you are in your career, that sort of thing?
Sure. I think it's the experience for me, experience, expertise, the knowledge, all in the trucking field. It takes a while to develop, and I'm still not 100% there, but every day I'm learning something new, and I hope I can be as knowledgeable as someone like Joe one day.
In general, how does a truck crash, say, with a big commercial truck or an 18-wheeler versus a passenger vehicle, how does that differ from a case where it may just be two passenger vehicles?
Sure. So there's a few ways it differs. The first is most of the time in a car crash, you're dealing with the driver and the owner. In a trucking case, you're usually dealing with not only the driver and the trucking company, but any broker, shipper, receiver, anyone involved in that transportation cycle. And that's why it makes it so complicated to work one of these cases. And you really have to have that knowledge of what parties to go after, how they're involved. And then secondly, knowing the regulations and laws in trucking. Trucking drivers and the companies have to abide by certain federal motor carrier regulations, and you have to have that knowledge. Same with the state laws. What state laws are they breaking, being a professional truck driver? And
there are a lot of those regulations, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a lot.
So why is it important then, if someone's injured in a crash with a big commercial vehicle, a big truck, why is it important to have somebody, an attorney who's experienced in these kind of cases, on their side?
Yeah. So you want someone who knows what they're doing, point blank. I mean, if you get a car wreck attorney, they're not going to know to uncover all these stones in the transportation cycle. They're not going to know what parties to look for. They're not going to know that the trailer has additional coverage. So they could settle a case for $1 million and think that's it, but they're not uncovering every stone. And that's why you need somebody that deals with these cases every day to know what stones to uncover.
You could be leaving a lot of money on the table in the end, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And I mean, what Joe says all the time, you wouldn't have a general practitioner do your heart surgery. So it's the same in the legal field.
Makes a lot of sense. A lot of good information, Sarah. Thank you for making some time to answer our questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been attorney Sara Sardina. Don't forget, if you'd like to ask Sarah questions about your situation, go to askthelawyers.com. You can click the button up at the top of the page that says Ask a Lawyer. It'll walk you through the process. Doesn't cost you anything to ask your questions, or you can call the phone number that was on the screen during our conversation. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal for Ask the Lawyers.